Picture this: you're flying from Paris to Rome, and you walk straight off the plane without showing your passport to anyone. No border control, no customs, no questions asked. Yet both France and Italy are sovereign nations with their own governments, laws, and borders. Welcome to the Schengen area, one of the most ambitious experiments in borderless cooperation the world has ever seen. But here's where it gets interesting. The Schengen area is not the European Union. And understanding why reveals a fascinating story about European integration, national sovereignty, and the messy reality of international cooperation. Let's start with the basics, because this confusion is remarkably common. The European Union is a political and economic union of 27 member states, bound together by treaties that govern everything from trade regulations to environmental standards. It has its own institutions: the European Commission, the European Parliament, the Court of Justice. The EU creates laws, negotiates trade deals, and even has its own currency, the euro, though not all members use it. Think of the EU as a club with strict membership requirements and shared rules on economics, politics, and increasingly, foreign policy. The Schengen area, on the other hand, is specifically about one thing: eliminating internal border controls. Named after the tiny Luxembourg village, where the original agreement was signed in 1985, Schengen allows people to move freely across participating countries without passport checks. It's a travel and security arrangement, not a comprehensive political union. As of 2025, the Schengen area includes 29 countries, covering over 4.3 million square kilometers and more than 420 million people. When you cross from Germany into France, or from Spain into Portugal, there's no border guard waiting to stamp your passport. The frontier might be marked by a simple road sign, or you might not even notice you've crossed at all. Now, here's where things get deliciously complicated. If you assume every EU country is in Schengen, you'd be wrong. Ireland and Cyprus, both full EU members, have chosen to remain outside the Schengen area. Ireland's decision is intimately connected to its relationship with the United Kingdom. The two countries share the common travel area, an arrangement dating back to 1923 that allows free movement between Ireland and the UK. When Britain chose not to join Schengen, Ireland faced a dilemma: join Schengen and potentially compromise its border arrangement with the UK, or stay out and maintain the status quo. Ireland chose the latter, preserving the invisible border on the island of Ireland that has significant political and historical importance. Cyprus presents a different case entirely. The island nation has been divided since 1974, with the northern third occupied by Turkey and recognized only by Ankara as the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. The Republic of Cyprus, an EU member since 2004, cannot implement Schengen border controls across its entire territory because it doesn't control its entire territory. Until the Cyprus dispute is resolved, full Schengen membership remains practically impossible, though Cyprus continues working toward eventual accession. But the real mind-bender is this: some countries in the Schengen area aren't in the European Union at all. Norway, Iceland, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein are all Schengen members but remain outside the EU. How does this work? These countries have negotiated special agreements that allow them to participate in the borderless travel zone while maintaining their independence from the broader EU project. Norway and Iceland, for instance, are part of the European Economic Area, giving them access to the EU's single market while staying out of its political structures. They contribute to Schengen's operations and must implement its rules, but they have no vote in EU decision-making. Switzerland's situation is even more unique. The Swiss have consistently rejected EU membership through referendums, fiercely guarding their tradition of direct democracy and political neutrality. Yet Switzerland is completely surrounded by EU and Schengen countries, making border controls economically impractical. after years of negotiation, Switzerland joined Schengen in 2008, but through bilateral agreements rather than EU membership. The Swiss can travel freely across Europe, and Europeans can enter Switzerland without controls, but Switzerland remains firmly outside the EU's political framework. The history of how we got here reveals much about European integration's stop-start nature. The original Schengen Agreement in 1985 was signed by just 5 countries: France, Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. The European Community, the EU's predecessor, wasn't involved at all. These 5 nations were frustrated with the slow pace of European integration and decided to forge ahead on their own. The agreement didn't actually come into force until 1995, a full decade later, when the necessary infrastructure and legal frameworks were finally in place. Meanwhile, the European Union was developing separately. The Maastricht Treaty of 1992 transformed the European Community into the European Union, expanding cooperation into foreign policy, justice, and home affairs. It wasn't until the Amsterdam Treaty of 1999 that the Schengen Agreement was formally incorporated into EU law. Even then, it remained separate enough that countries could opt out and non-EU countries could opt in. This created the complex patchwork we see today. The practical implications of this distinction matter enormously for travelers and citizens alike. When Americans, Canadians, or Australians visit Europe, they often receive a Schengen visa, not an EU visa. This allows them to travel freely within the Schengen area for up to 90 days within any 180-day period. But that same visa doesn't grant automatic entry to Ireland or Cyprus. Conversely, someone could visit Ireland without ever entering the Schengen zone. For non-Europeans, understanding this distinction is crucial for travel planning. Recent developments have added new wrinkles to this already complex picture. Bulgaria and Romania, EU members since 2007, spent years trying to join Schengen, meeting all technical requirements but facing political objections from countries like Austria and the Netherlands. In March 2024, they achieved partial Schengen membership, with border controls eliminated for air and sea travel, but maintained at land borders. This created an unprecedented situation. You can fly from Sofia to Vienna without passport control, but driving the same route still requires border checks. It's a compromise that satisfies no one completely, but reflects the political realities of European decision-making. The Schengen area's success has also created new challenges. The 2015 migration crisis exposed vulnerabilities in the system, as hundreds of thousands of refugees entered through Greece and Italy, then moved freely northward. Some countries temporarily reintroduced border controls, technically allowed under Schengen rules during emergencies, but controversial nonetheless. The COVID-19 pandemic saw even more dramatic border closures, with countries that hadn't checked passports in decades suddenly erecting barriers. These events revealed that Schengen, while remarkably durable, remains dependent on political will and mutual trust. Security cooperation is another crucial but often invisible aspect of Schengen. Eliminating internal borders only works if external borders are strong and information is shared. The Schengen Information System, a massive database accessible to all member states, allows police forces to share data on wanted persons, stolen vehicles, and missing people in real time. When you cross into the Schengen area from outside, you're checked against this system. The upcoming entry-exit system, launching in October 2025, will digitally record all entries and exits of non-EU nationals, using biometric data to track who's in the zone and for how long. The distinction between Schengen and the EU also reflects deeper philosophical differences about what European integration should mean. The EU represents a comprehensive vision of shared sovereignty, with common institutions making binding decisions on behalf of member states. Schengen is more limited, a practical arrangement for eliminating one specific barrier while leaving broader political questions aside. Some see Schengen as a model for cooperation without full political union. Others view it as incomplete, arguing that borderless travel ultimately requires deeper integration to be sustainable. Looking ahead, the relationship between these two frameworks will continue evolving. As the EU considers further enlargement, with countries like Ukraine and Moldova pursuing membership, questions about Schengen accession will follow. Not every new EU member will immediately join Schengen. They'll need to demonstrate they can secure external borders and implement the necessary systems. Conversely, the Schengen area might expand independently of EU enlargement, though this seems less likely given how intertwined the two have become. So why does this distinction matter? Because it reveals a fundamental truth about international cooperation. It's messy, complicated, and rarely fits into neat categories. The European project isn't a single unified thing, but rather a collection of overlapping agreements, opt-outs, and special arrangements. Some countries want economic integration without political union. Others accept free movement, but not a common currency. Still, others participate in security cooperation while maintaining border controls. The Schengen area and the European Union are both remarkable achievements, but they serve different purposes and include different members. One is about eliminating physical borders between nations. The other is about building common institutions and shared governance. They overlap significantly, but the exceptions, the countries that are in one but not the other, tell us as much about European integration as the similarities do. Understanding this distinction means understanding that Europe's future won't be uniform or simple. It will continue to be a complex web of relationships, where countries cooperate in some areas while maintaining independence in others. And perhaps that's exactly as it should be, a recognition that unity doesn't require uniformity, and that cooperation can take many forms. The border-free zone you experience traveling from Paris to Rome isn't the European Union in action. It's the Schengen Agreement, a separate achievement with its own history, rules, and membership. Both are extraordinary, but they're definitely not the same thing. So there you have it. Confusing the European Union with the Schengen area is like confusing a sports club with its locker room. One is a comprehensive structure with rules, members, and shared ambitions. The other is simply the space where you move freely. Europe isn't being built in a straight line, but through layers of agreements, exceptions, and compromises. And that's precisely what makes it so fascinating. If this kind of deep dive helps you make sense of our continent's inner workings, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. I'll see you very soon as we untangle another thread of European geopolitics together.